never slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no...
Comes Christian Daniel to take the lead.
That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? So Veda goes from...
Benyat Fernandez in 4th place on the number 7. Chasing Karpushin, number 7. 3 abreast again on the brakes. And it's Marco Morelli. No plan B takes the lead.
Brilliant. From 1st to 3rd position as Daniel will come across the line leading this race. Veda looks
17. And so far, Brian Uriarte and Veda Pratama absolutely unable to do...
No plan B up there once again. He's been a little bit quiet this year, hasn't he? Not what we expect behind him. They do a bit of a twitch. You're allowed to do once, but you can't do it twice, 3 times, except...
What they did yesterday, which was race ahead at the front of the field.
Be very respected from the Argentina. Kicked off the year with a 5th and a 4th placer. They come towards turn 1. It's going to be Uriarte leading the way. Veda up the inside of Christian. Careful of the green stuff on the exit of that turn. Joel Pons having his best ride at his finish. He got his first podium in Le Mans Race 2. He's not been on the podium since. Daniel once again, so his lead was rather short-lived.
Yeah, and they're broken away. The group is broken away. Yaroslav Cup
the year so far at the moment. The number 16 into 10th place, just behind Carter Thompson from towards the back. This is what we want to see from Morelli.
Yeah, he had 2 wins last year, and we want to see him on the... Bushin is back there in 6th place, and that's the rest of the field. I wonder if the
grid. So this is a great ride for the pair of them. Joel Pons really needs a finish like this, doesn't he?
Top step of the podium, and Brian desperately trying to keep his KTM off the green stuff there as he chases. These leading group of 5 are going to hang on to it.
Gonzalez had a big twitch at the front end then.
He did. Yeah, and Hakan Danish up into 15th as they cross the line that time, so he has 1 point at the moment. This is Morelli away from the first corner.
And of course, him and Morelli came to blows back in Sachsenring, didn't they?
And he collected that up just in time to turn it right, but he lost a little bit of ground, but I think it could...
Very nearly nil point.
Yeah.
Look at the gap then with the chasers. They are on it. They are going to catch them, I think, Peter.
Could have been a lot worse.
Karpushin's absolutely on it, isn't he? He got a podium last time, fortunately for Hakim. A real shame because, wow, what a blockbuster of a finish. It was 0.6 of a second as they come across the firm out in Sachsenring. He's got Danish for company just behind him, and the chase begins. They're 1 second off Ilberg thriller we were in for with all 3 of them. We're still in for one in general, but how good would it have been? First intermediate split there, so I think that's it. The leading pack have been caught officially. David Gonzalez at the line. We're going to come across the intermediate with top 3 in the championship, all battling out for the top 3 positions in the final part of the race. The fastest rider on track is that rider there, number 7 of Benyat Fernandez.
And of course that group of 5.
Intermediate now near enough, or on the exit of this corner. We'll see whether that gap is coming down or not. Still 5 laps to go, a fair way. We'll keep an eye on Danish. He's up in a 14th at the moment.
It punches a big hole in the air, and that drags the other guys into the slipstream very effectively.
But the leading quintet, if they want to just have a race of their own, it's in their best.
And it looked to me, Danish did a 1:49. Most of the guys ran to a 1. Brian Uriarte takes up the lead from Veda Pratama.
So heavy on the brakes, and it's really interest just to absolutely pin it because they've got Karpushin and Danish hot on their tails.
And if you saw the 45, so that means it cost him 4 seconds, that long lap penalty.
Steep downhill into turn 4 there. You can see the rear wheel of Uriarte just popping off the ground momentarily.
The orange tape come off got pulled off one of the bikes there, and another bit lying on the road.
Yeah, it really is. It is a proper penalty, mate. That's why you can't take the mick with the track. As they now come into the fast and sweeping section as Guillaume Plomb first.
That is the tape that they have on the radiator at the start of the race. As the temperature rises, the riders can pull the tape
limits because it will ruin your race potentially, or in this case, it could potentially ruin your championship. Rider to have a long lap penalty for exceeding track limits. He's in 20th spot at the moment. That'll
tape off and give them full cooling.
There is Benyat Fernandez then. He was the fastest rider on
side by side then. Briefly they are, but Brian is so quick into that right-hander.
Moving down, likely to last.
Right, and as you were talking about, using
back last time around, 2 2/10 of a second quicker than your leader, Christian. Gonzalez has recovered. Gonzalez has recovered. He's in third place now then. A brilliant move up.
Your tyres too much. These Pirellis are really superb tyres. They do drop off. The performance does.
So he could well be a threat later in the race. But what's for certain is these front five right inside a car pushing at the penultimate turn. And he had such a great drive through there that he's almost
fade away slightly, but it's very, very predictable. So the guys can feel what's happening, and
riders are just absolutely drilling it. They're not interested in a big pack race. They want to have one catching up to both Veda and Brian out front. A 144, the first one that we've seen.
Usually doesn't give them any nasty surprises. It's Brian Iriarte that leads, but up the inside,
one of their own.
Yeah, that's right. And Brian Iriarte and Veda Pratama are well able to.
Of the race so far then, and it is Gonzalez on a mission. Here is
now, it's David Gonzalez there on the number 11 into second place.
I think I saw Chris
to drag this group away from the rest of the field, but that isn't happening at the moment. It's three abreast on the brakes.
Attack him, Dinesh. 14th place at the moment. He is closing steadily on. Daniel pushing Marco Morelli rather wide there in towards the penultimate turn. And there we have. Oh, and Christian Daniel, the last on the brakes there, just lets them off a little bit later than everybody else. He's getting the riders in front of him, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, he's
the weave-in. Riders trying to avoid the other riders catching too much of a slipstream. Morelli up the inside of Dan. They go across track limits though on the exit of that, which is the risk you run as they come now down to.
He's lapping at a very similar pace for the men in front, but of course he's got to go quicker. It's almost the same lap time.
He'll again just slots it there, goes a little bit wide onto the green then, so he might himself have a track limit towards 2A and 2B. Veda wants to go up the inside there again, but Christian Daniel just so late on the brakes, isn't he?
Iriarte and Pratama in the front.
He can only hope for some misfortune to befall the two title rival. Warning, but they have officially been caught by the others. They've now got car pushing on their tail, car pushing moving up the inside, potentially. Goodness me, and that was a bit of an example there. He slightly rushed the corner, but I don't think he sacrificed his dribbles ahead of him, which is always in the realms of possibility. But they are looking very certainly of Morelli, but also potentially Daniel as well. Not quite, as we see Morelli get pushed by too much there on this big hill climb up towards turn 3.
And I think he dragged Veda Pratama on.
Very, very strong out front, both Iriarte and Pratama. They have basically been in the top 3-4 position now by Beñat Fernandez moving up the inside. Dinesh side by side with
to the green with him there at turn 1. But there's the chasing pack, including Beñat Fernandez, and they are close.
The entire race, the only riders to do so. They are just on another level here.